A few weeks ago, I got home from work, and as I was pulling into the garage, I realized that I forgot to go to the pharmacy to pick up my prescription. Do you ever do this? You roll into your garage and you realize you forgot an errand that I'm sure you have reminded yourself, like I do, multiple times throughout the day. It happens to us all. So, one of our dogs, Miles, had been at home all day, and I just decided to let him ride with me to the pharmacy. It was only a mile down the road, and I knew that he had been lonely all day because our other dog, Beasley, had been at work with my husband, Chad. And I just wanted to hold him. I wanted him to ride in my lap. So, if I'm honest, I could also not bear the thought of him seeing me and then getting in my car and leaving again. Just dog mom guilt. So I put Miles in my lap and we began turning out of the alleyway, turning out of our neighborhood. And as soon as we turned out of our neighborhood, he immediately starts shaking. His shaking was quickly accompanied by a whimper and then a whine, and then his noises got louder and louder until he was just at a full-out cry. I calmly rubbed his back, in my mind questioning why on earth I thought this was a good idea. And then I realized that this is not really something we do with Miles. If we put him in the car for any amount of time and any distance, he travels in his crate. If we put him in the car without a crate, we're either going to the vet or the groomer, two places that he hates. So in his mind, he was not in the crate, which meant that everything was about to end in him either getting a haircut or getting a shot. In his mind, this was all going to end in some kind of pain and suffering. I knew that we were just running a simple errand down the street and we would be back in less than 5 minutes. I kept rubbing his back, saying, "Buddy, I love you. You're okay. We're almost home. We'll be home in just a few minutes." But he couldn't see or hear or understand any of that. He didn't know where we were going, and he was trusting his past experiences of riding in a car as he should have. He simply could not see the road ahead and where it was leading. We have all had times in our life where we have felt much like Miles. We cannot see the road ahead, and so our minds begin racing. We're asking what if questions, going to worst case scenarios, wondering if it's all going to end in a shot and a haircut. This is especially true now when every single one of our lives have been turned upside down by COVID-19 in such a way that it is incredibly difficult to know what comes next. We very literally cannot see the road ahead and where it might lead. If you are a parent of a young child, I know for a fact that you have seen the movie Frozen 2. I have seen it because it is now free on Disney+, so I'd encourage you to watch it if you have that streaming platform. In the movie Frozen 2, Elsa's sister, Anna, has a dark moment in the middle of the story where she is faced with uncertainty about what to do next. At this point in the movie, she thinks that she has lost her sister and her best friend, Olaf. So in the midst of her grief and darkness, she has this profound moment and this profound realization and sings this beautiful song called The Next Right Thing. I'm not going to sing it for you, but here is a portion of those lyrics. Just do the next right thing. Take a step, step again. It is all that I can do, the next right thing. I won't look too far ahead. It's too much for me to take. But break it down to this next breath, this next step, this next choice is one that I can make. So I'll walk through this night, stumbling blindly towards the light, and do the next right thing. Friends, in this new rhythm of life, God has been teaching me how to truly live in the present moment. I'm ashamed that it took a global pandemic for me to fully understand that. but here we are. My prayer and hope for you is that you will take these days, however long they might last, and fully experience whatever moment you find yourself in, letting go of everything you cannot control and everything that is just not ours to know. When you feel anxious and afraid about what the next few weeks might hold, I pray that you stop, take a breath, and just do the next right thing. May you stumble blindly towards the light and feel God's presence reminding you that you are deeply loved and cared for.
I remember what Jay Massey told me about a weekly rhythm. She was explaining her choice about being an office volunteer at First Baptist, and she said a weekly rhythm will at least let you know what day it is.
I think that schedules are really important for our day-to-day life. This being said, my family has created a new quarantine schedule in order to make this time feel more normal.
Our schedule has been a little different during this time period. One thing that's made it different is our brand new baby Ryder, who's joined our family, and figuring out his schedule and how to mesh that with a 3-year-old who's home from school, who's not normally.
Patience has been the rhythm of my life that has taken priority.
The first thing that we do every morning is wake up and go down and eat breakfast. One thing that's really important to all of us is eating meals together. After that, around 8:30, we do a power hour, which is basically where we just clean up and tidy our house for an hour. After that, we do education time because that's still important, even though as of recent we're not going back to school.
I feel like we've been using technology a lot more. I mean, like a lot more. I mean, like I know it's necessary for things like school and after school activities and things that are online now, but I'm not sure I like it.
For the past several years, I've been attending respiratory therapy 3 days a week. Suddenly, it came to a halt. I was then forced to come up with an alternate way of exercising. I chose to do it outside. Since it has been outside, I've felt the wonderful sun, the wind, and most of all, the song of the birds.
Then we do a family project, which is like just something we needed to get done, but we never found the time to before quarantine. And then after that, we do free time. And this is where I've started to work on some things that I've been able to do to self-improve, such as I've started to learn to play the guitar, and I work out frequently now.
I've made a concerted effort to set aside 90 minutes each day for physical exercise. In addition to walking 3 to 4 miles each day at a brisk pace, I do a series of stretching exercises, stomach crunches, and exercising using weights and resistance bands to tone my muscles. This increased level of physical activity not only is improving my health and conditioning, it also contributes to a more positive mental state of mind and more restful sleep each night.
One of the things that has really helped me set a better rhythm is my Fitbit. An hourly reminder from it helps me know it's time to get up and move around, look at something different, take a deep breath, and keep from getting drawn into those darker spaces or maybe unhealthy places, and look at the light.
I'm sitting on the porch where lately I've found a lot more time to sit and think and paint. Found a lot more time than I ever have before.
Have the birds been singing louder this year, or have I just been listening?
So one thing that helps us all is something that we do every morning and afternoon. What's that?
Lots of walks.
Lots of what?
Walks.
Lots of walks. We do 2 long walks every day, one in the morning and one in the afternoon, even if it's raining. And part of that time is for everyone to be quiet And part of that time is for us to talk and see what we're seeing and learning, and the different machines we see in the neighborhood, all kinds of things.
Every other night, one of us helps my mom cook dinner. Part of this is planning out what we're going to get from the grocery store and pick up in the following week. After dinner, we usually have like a movie or game night, because one of the things that we think is like really important is to have quality time together.
We watch this TV show, The Great British Baking Show, a lot more.
Kristen and I have actually started walking through our neighborhood just about every day in the evening, getting some fresh air, getting exercise for the dogs, but also meeting some neighbors, of course, at a safe social distance that we have not met in almost 2 years here.
We as a family, some new things we have started is eating our meals all together with each other at the table. And then after dinner, we go outside and swing the swings and have a time where we get to talk together and just talk about our days and what's going on. And Brantley Jr. comes over, and that time just reminds me so much of when I was a kid on my granny's porch on Sunday afternoons.
Worship staring at a TV screen is not the same, not for any of us, I think. But I can follow along with a liturgy on an iPad so that verbally I am participating with everybody else. It's enough to remind me that the church family, Christ family, still gathers.
Prayer life can help in any situation, and that definitely helps to calm us.
As we eventually return to some of our old rhythms, I am committed to maintaining my new routine of setting aside time each day for physical exercise, resulting in a better me.
I really want to take back the routine of my playing outside a lot more.
And Asher, are you hoping that we keep doing those walks after the germs go away? You do?
Yes.
Maybe we will. We probably won't be able to do quite as many or quite as long, but it has been really, really nice to have that time together.
Some things that I think that I would continue from this whole quarantine madness is I would continue to play guitar, because I found that I really like it. I also would probably continue to work out, because I mean it's a good outlet for me, and I really enjoy having meal times together.
I have received many cards and phone calls that have helped and given me joy and comfort. I have also continued to do this myself in sending cards and making calls. It helps me as well as them, and I plan to continue this practice in the future as a wonderful connection to FBC.
So, for me, life rhythm is inching back. I can tell when it's Sunday, and I can tell when it's Tuesday. A Zoom meeting on Thursday now IDs that day. Zoom Sunday School has brought more faces to the Sunday family gathering. One by one, the rhythm is inching back. Just don't be surprised if you see me checking my calendar to verify what day it is.
I don't think that this is the new normal yet. It's like when you mess up on something, and that's like the pandemic, like all this. And sometimes you can find a way to kind of fix it. And that's like what we're going through right now. And then there's going to be like a new normal. It will never be as you imagined it, but there will be a new normal. And I know that there will be a new normal, but we're not there yet.
I'm reminded of God's wonderful creation. It reminds me of my favorite hymn, "This is my Father's world." This is my Father's world, and though the wrong seem oh so strong, God is the ruler yet.
Thomas Merton was a Trappist monk, theologian, writer, mystic, poet, social activist, among many other titles. He is one of my absolute favorites, and I would encourage you to read his writing if you have not yet had the chance. He has this prayer that I have used no less than 1,000,000 times in my life. I use it sort of as my North Star prayer when I'm short on words and when I'm looking for God to guide me through a season of uncertainty. I have prayed this through tears, in the silence of a walk. I have prayed this over graduates when I was serving as a youth minister. I have prayed this before a life-changing decision. I have prayed this at the hospital bed of someone that was dying. I hope that it brings you the same sense of comfort that it has brought me countless times throughout the course of my life. Hear these words from Thomas Merton. My Lord God, I have no idea where I am going. I do not see the road ahead of me. I cannot know for certain where it will end, nor do I really know myself. And the fact that I think I am following your will does not mean that I am actually doing so. But I believe that the desire to please you does in fact please you. And I hope I have that desire in all that I am doing. I hope that I will never do anything apart from that desire. And I know that if I do this, you will lead me by the right road, though I may know nothing about it. Therefore, I will trust you always, though I may seem to be lost and in the shadow of death. I will not fear, for you are ever with me, and you will never leave me to face my perils alone. Amen.